Hello, this is Mr. Hornsby83 with another Mr. Hornsby83 topics, and today I was planning on doing a topic show about the Saw franchise, but my last couple of horror movie franchises didn't freaking get made use of this script. I'll do that probably next year or something. But I'm going to start talking about the Bond movies, and I'm going to start talking about the ones I like the most, and talking about, who's been my favorite Bond so far. There's no Bond's gonna go on forever. Even freaking in the age after humans have been wiped out, we'll still have James Bond movies. But and one of my favorites from the Sean Connery era was You Only Live Twice, or You Only Die Twice. I think it's You Only Live Twice. You Only Live Twice, and one of the main reasons is because it's got Donald Pleasence from the Halloween franchise, which I'm a big fan of. And I like the storyline for that one, and it's pretty much kind of a link to the Spectre that's coming out here in a week from now. And another one I liked with I think it's the one with Christopher Walken with Roger Moore, which I believe was Roger Moore's last Bond movie. A View to a Kill, that one was pretty good. I like that one also. Some of the other Sean Connery ones I've kind of liked. I kind of liked Goldfinger. What else? I can't remember all of them. Like with Roger Moore, I've seen a lot more of his. But like Live and Let Die, which a guy from another horror franchise is in that. Capote Yati, or whatever his name is, from Nightmare on Elm Street 6, The Final Nightmare. He was the villain in that one. I think that one also had that. No, it wasn't that one. I also I forgot which one it was. The one where he's skiing off and he comes off and then he's going down, and then the flag, pulls out the flag, and it was the British flag. That's another one of my favorites. But now let's jump to a couple things I want to talk about. I'm going to talk about the Timothy Dalton 2 that he did. And I don't even think they were planning on putting Timothy Dalton in those two. I think they had plans for Brosnan to play those also, because for so long they wanted Brosnan to play Bond, and he was in a contract, so I guess they had to settle for Timothy Dalton. They did finally get Brosnan in '95 to star in another one of my favorite Bond movies, which is GoldenEye, which I think is one of the best Bond movies, probably the best Bond movie thus far. Well, no, I'm not going to say that, because up in the 90s, I did go back and watch the Roger Moore and Sean Connery. The only one I didn't see is the one where after Sean Connery was possibly not coming back for Bond, they picked a different actor, which that guy only did one movie, and I think before they did the Roger Moore one, I think Connery did one more in the 60s. I just can't think of the name of it. But, yeah, I grew up in the 90s, which was the Brosnan era of Bond, and I liked 1 and 2 and 3, but I did not like Die Another Day. Die Another Day was probably one of the worst Bond movies ever. But the other 3, World Is Not Enough, Tomorrow Never Dies, and GoldenEye I liked. Now let's move to the Daniel Craig franchise. And another thing too about the Brosnan ones, I thought Brosnan fit that role a lot better than the guys prior to that. No disrespect to them. I mean, Roger Moore, he fit that role pretty well too. But no disrespect to Connery or Craig. But I think he fit those roles perfectly. Now we'll jump to Daniel Craig ones. Which I like the Daniel Craig version of Bond. It started out with Casino Royale, which was supposed to be based on the first book that Ian Fleming's made. after that, we got Quantum of Solace, which did not live up to the expectations that Casino Royale had left. Then we got, which now I can say, this was the one I believe was the best Bond, Spyfall. Or not Spyfall. That was a kick in the lips. Skyfall. Yeah, Skyfall, that was a pretty good one. I mean, it was just, you know, the story was great for it, the action in it, the freaking... I didn't care too much for the villain in it, you know, a lame villain. I mean, especially with the villains they've had in some of the past ones, like the Connerys, the Rogers, and the Brosnan ones. But overall, the movie was good, and it made up for the freaking bad villain in it. So, and I'm really looking forward to seeing Spectre because, from what I've seen in the trailers, it just looks amazing. It's like, and I also want to talk about something else with Daniel Craig. Listen, I heard recently in an interview that he's talking about, well, if I have to talk about Bond anymore, I'm gonna slit my own throat or gouge my own eyes out, and then freaking sitting there dogging on the fact that if he did another Bond movie, they'd have to pay him. Which, let me say something right now, Daniel Craig. You better be happy you got this role, because before this role, you were a nobody. You have not had a successful movie after any of the Bond movies, and if you do decide not to play Bond no more, then you're pretty much going to turn into a nobody again. So either you got no choice either to apologize for your remarks or, you know, beg to keep the role of Bond, because that's what's keeping you relevant in the movie world, because nobody cares about you outside of the Bond movie. So, you know, you should not bite the hand that feeds you. And, you know, and I hear a lot of people try to compare this to Hugh Jackman. I think Hugh Jackman could do good movies, but the problem is he's kind of like Nicolas Cage. He takes scripts to bad movies, and I guess he sees something that he thinks is gonna be good, or he thinks his star power is good enough to help the movie be good, which it never turns out that way. I mean, some of Jackman's movies outside of the X movies I thought were pretty good. I mean, I liked Swordfish. I don't care what the critics and that thought of it. I liked, I didn't care too much for Van Helsing. That movie sucked.
It's okay.
I haven't seen Chappie yet. I liked his little cameo he did in this last Night in Museum, which was pretty funny. It was hilarious. Especially what freaking King Arthur's knight was saying. Yeah, that made it even more hilarious. And God, you know, I mean, Hugh Jackman deserves a chance. I mean, oh yeah, I know what the other movie was. Real Steel. I love that movie. I want to see a sequel to it. That was a good movie. But, yeah, so I don't think you should compare Craig to Jackman, because I think Jackman could do good movies if he'd stop taking the movies with the bad script, kind of like with Colin Farrell. He can't he takes movies with bad scripts too, which is something that he shouldn't. But, that'll wrap up my rambling, or my topic on the Bond films, what I've thought about them. It's been a while since I've watched any, but my top 10 video, I'm going to move to Saturday. Tomorrow, me and JC here are going to do predictions for the Sunday games, and I guess till tomorrow, peace out.